following up, so. Look for a motion to adjourn the assessment hearing.
Make a motion?
Thank you, Jed.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Just 1 minute.
We're gonna take 1 minute before we, start this next meeting.
I need to take
Happy holidays, Trish.
Good, Dan?
Just right there? Thank you. Yeah, there's one vision statement. You just need to tell me something.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Where's the Okay.
Where was I supposed to?
You're supposed to be
Somewhere
there.
over Oh, no, I know.
You had a
Yeah, I
comment?
think it's South Central. Brian? How you doing, sir?
I don't need to know.
Hello. It was a fast
You just heard that meeting that you were supposed to
I'm sure it was a fast
Actually, it's good to get the whole vision of what's going on. If you want to recap, you can come right there.
I will.
I talked to her today too. And I had already had the exact same conversation with that person last night. It's really weird, yeah. Okay, this taking over on it. Susan's going to get the thing that she has.
Okay, we'll just make a note for now. All right, I will call to order the Chisholm City Council meeting, November 27th, 2024, at 5:32. And Susan, if you would, take roll call, please.
Present?
Counselor McElroy.
Doesn't.
Counselor Feldman. Absent. Counselor Alba.
Here.
Keith.
Here.
Mayor Ling.
Here. All right, council, look for a motion to adopt the agenda with just a couple changes here. Bridget's items 1, 2, and 3 will fall under Steph. She'll be taking those. So we'll just move Stephanie's number 1 to 4. That way we can follow along correctly in our packet. And then so 1, 2, and 3 for Bridget will be 1, 2, and 3 for Stephanie. And there will be a correction on page 69, the Red Head Mountain Bike Park vision statement, which is number 2 under Stephanie then. You just got the handout. We will be removing non-motorized from your packet. It's on the bottom paragraph, second sentence towards the end. And the correction, the corrected sheet is in front of you now. So with those changes, I would look for a motion to adopt the agenda.
Make a motion?
Thank you, Jed.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Pledge allegiance if you would. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you everyone and good evening. Public participation, Marty, is there any additional on there since? Not? Okay, so the only thing we have is what's in our packet. Joe Keys from Precious Paws. Good evening, Mr. Keys. Am I saying that right? Keys? Yes? Okay.
Yes, with your card.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening. So, I'm not really here to do a presentation that I'm aware of. I'm really here to answer questions that the council might have. I'm assuming the contract is in your packet, along with some materials that we did with regards to previous years and why we're asking for the increase that we're asking for it this year. And then kind of a preview of that. Instead of asking for as much as we felt we needed, we did about halvesies, knowing that next year, we're gonna be asking then to come up with another increase in terms of that. So instead of going from 1,300 to the 1,500, we went to 1,400 in terms of things. So, but with the understanding that next year, we will be coming back then at the 1,500 number, trying to get us up to a reasonable amount of money, particularly when we compared ourselves to what St. Louis County is paying to other organizations when the county is responsible for animal care as opposed to cities.
Okay. Yeah, so, if you don't mind giving us a little rundown of what you're seeing, you know, where this jump is coming from, what you're having, issues with?
Well, the biggest thing is like everybody who had increases starting with COVID, the cost for cat litter, the cost for cat food, the cost for all of the other things, vet bills going up. Spay and neuter costs have gone from approximately $100 when I was first with the organization to now over $200 in terms of things. And I took a look at the number of animals that Chisholm is doing. For instance, that 108 animals that you've done so far this year. About 50 of those are dogs. Dogs go in and go out. I think we've only had 2 dogs that stayed in the shelter this year and had to be adopted out. Almost all of the rest of them were returned to owners. However, on cats and on kittens, those are almost never picked back up by owners. Those are animals that we then have to keep, take care of, spay and neuter before they can be adopted out. And so that's really where most of the costs increases have been coming through. And then also, we've been trying to, if you look at the history, you kind of go 3 years before there's an increase, and then there's an increase and so forth. I think if we probably were smarter about this, we would have a multi-year contract with like incremental increases each year, so it doesn't become a sticker shock when it does come through in terms of things. And then the other thing that's really coming through with regards on the increase is the extra charge for going over the contract. We were at $50 since way back in the beginning. And if you think about what you're paying per animal on the 100 animals for the total contract on a per animal basis and compare that to the 50, it just isn't fair. And so that's why we took a hard look at that. And again, that's a number that needs to go up and kind of halvesied it again, saying, let's do that for this year, knowing that next year we're probably going to look at another increase on that so that we can get it into something that the shelter can afford to take care of the animals the way they need to be taken care of.
Okay. And currently, right now, we're 8 over that,
You were 8 over as of December, as of the end of October. So whatever happened in November, and I don't have the November numbers in front of me.
Okay.
My guess is you're gonna end up somewhere in that, probably about 120 animals, again this year, in terms of things. And you can sort of see, you know, from that chart, you know, that you've been, you know, the COVID years were kind of good in terms of being in the 90s and in the 85, and then we jumped up to that 162 and then 125, and I believe we're going to be, like I said, around 120 by the end of this year. It's really hard to predict. That's the tough part to it.
okay. Well, and what you guys do is definitely, it's good for the community. It's definitely a plus to have, so. Council, do you have any questions for Mr. Keys?
Yeah, I do.
Mhm.
I guess, yeah, in our working session, Councilor McLaraha brought this up, and I thought about it before this meeting, but I guess I would rather, this is my opinion,
Mhm.
but I'm not a big fan of the 50, 100, and now you're telling us that next year it's gonna be more than 100. I would rather, again, my opinion, but I would rather sit down and maybe talk about the contract reading up to 125 animals. I think if we were already at 108, we were at 125 last year, like, I don't think it should be. I think that should be a discussion point before next year, especially if it's gonna be $150 per animal, if,
Mhm.
I just think, if it's 200 animals in a crazy year, well, and we don't budget for that, now then we're at a loss on our end. So I just think there's like some wiggle room where if we have a working session and sit down with you guys and maybe look at that, or maybe you look at it on your end and see what number that looks like. But I guess I'm more of a proponent of knowing this is maybe our top number, 125. What does a contract monthly look like up to that number? That's just my thoughts.
And that's something that we raised, I think, a few years ago and said, when we saw the trends, and said that's something that we could sit down and discuss in terms of it. There's no problem with us taking a look at that. Obviously, $1,500 a month is not gonna cover it if you go to
Right.
125.
Right.
So however it works for the city is fine with us. If you'd rather do that on a base side, and rather than rolling the dice, as I always say, because you're rolling the dice on, is it gonna be 100 animals, is it gonna be 120, or is it that one year, is it gonna be that 162, where it's like, oh my God,
Right.
and so forth. So, I think when it comes time next year for a working session, give me a call, because I'd be happy to come in and massage some numbers with you that says, yeah, why don't we look at it this perspective?
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, do you guys have contracts with other cities at all?
Yes, we have contracts with Keewatin and Nashwauk.
Okay.
They're much smaller. They're 10 animals under contract each. You're 100 animals under contract.
Okay. One more question too. Do any of our police officers go out to other city limits to pick up animals, like walk-in or?
No,
No? Okay.
no,
Okay.
city only.
City only, okay.
If animals come to us from any of those other areas, they're considered surrendered animals and not charged under the contract. So it really has to be within the city limits.
Okay.
Just based on the 1,400 amount. 100 animals, it's $168 per animal, up to 100. It drops down to $100 per animal. It's actually cheaper. But you could structure it
Sure, sure.
any way that you want to structure it.
Yeah, right.
Just as long as they aren't closing the doors and sending it away.
Right.
I think we have enough animals running around town.
And I think, the key to is how do you do the best budgeting, that you can. If you want to know what my fixed cost is and it's not going to cost me anymore, you pay more on the upfront of the contract.
Yeah, right.
And so forth. That's really the option at the city in terms of how would you like to see that structure.
Well, sounds like a good conversation for next year.
Good.
Appreciate it, Mr. Keys. Any other questions? Have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, council reports. We'll start with Councilor Holova tonight. Good evening.
Good evening. I attended a working session on the 18th and One Nation meeting on the 19th, Public Utilities Commission meeting on the 20th.
Another working session at 26 and an assessment hearing prior to this meeting.
Councilor Nicola Raha. Good
Good
evening.
evening. I attended a Rams board meeting last week.
Councilor Rocky, good evening.
Good evening. Happy Thanksgiving. I don't really have much of a report. The boards that I sit on do not meet in November, so happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Councilor Halverson, good evening.
Good evening. Recently, I attended the Red Hat committee meetings, the Red Hat public meeting last night on the master plan, and our working session on budget. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so last night we had a Red Hat master plan for anyone that wasn't there. A lot of good information, a lot of good, ideas coming up. It's gonna be a busy couple years again, nonstop. So appreciate all the staff. You obviously are doing a lot of work, from all different departments. So Stephanie, thank you for heading that up, and all of our supervisors and employees. We really appreciate you. So there's a lot going on. And that's all I have. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope everyone's safe, happy. Call for a ride. Let's make sure we're here next week. Moving on. Ambulance Director, Tiffany, good evening.
I have the smallest report and update. It is just the fact that our ambulance 3 is in the public safety building. It's here, it's been delivered. And hopefully it'll be in service within the end of the month. It is obligated to the Arrowhead EMS conference in January, but other than that, we'll be running calls shortly. So for those that haven't seen it yet, come down and see it. What we've been working towards. So that's it. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Exciting, and yeah, beautiful rig. Interim Fire Chief, Jason, good evening.
No formal report.
No formal report. The first time and no formal report.
Got nothing.
All right.
Just on the agenda.
All right. Building official, Mandy. City engineer, Mr. Johnson, Jim. Public Works, Larry, Mr. Folstead, good evening.
Real quick, Mayor, Council, we had this is a very nice winter starting for us so far, and starting out really how we want, a little snow so we can pack down the alleys and maybe some of the rougher streets. And we have a couple new employees, so I just want to remind people that maybe at home, it wasn't done this way last year. Did they really miss me this year? Please reach out and give a call. Nobody knows better your neighborhood than you. You've been there for 30 or 40 years or whatever that is. So feel free to call if we miss something. We truly do have 2 brand new employees, almost brand new to Chisholm and brand new to our staff and the way we do work and stuff. So we're all still learning to work together. And that one snowfall was a little taste, and we'll get better as we go. But really, feel free to reach out if we miss you. We don't always watch Facebook, but I do answer the phone, and it comes to my voicemail and such too. So please reach out.
I like to piggyback on that, thank you. Yeah, please call. Don't get frustrated, don't get angry. People aren't reading minds, okay? Call the city, let us know what's going on, and, Larry will get it.
Yeah, and usually the plow driver does not plow his own neighborhood, so he just doesn't know these things, so reach out anytime.
Thank you, Larry. City Attorney, Brian.
No formal report, but I am happy to answer questions. I do, if the council is interested in taking a look, a couple of meetings back, we authorized some light complaints. I do have a stack of samples here if anybody would like to take a look at how those look and what they'll be like when they go out.
Perfect. Anyone can look at those, not at this time. We'll take those out later. Appreciate it. Yeah, just one comment. Mandy, she was so nice to give us some literature and some insight from different communities as far as different ordinances. Attorneys, man. Seriously. Come on. Clerk Treasurer, Evan. City Administrator, Stephanie, Straba.
I do not have a formal report tonight either.
Oh, I did not forget Mr. Johnson. He chose not to speak.
And Bert wasn't even here to compete with you.
Right. All right, council, I will look for a motion to approve the consent agenda, which consists of a list of bills, communications, minutes of previous city council meetings, payroll, and overtime.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Travis.
Support?
Thank you, Jed. Any further discussion?
Just have one comment, to the, probably are aware, but just a reminder about the industrial park. There's a lot of bad operations out there.
Oh, yeah, no,
That's why I always watch our Still City,
right.
and why there's a disc golf course there instead of a road.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any unfinished business? Hearing none, move on to new business. Ms. Larson, good evening.
I have two things tonight. The first would be the request to hire an EMT, Parker Grove, pending any of his, we've got a couple pieces of paperwork that haven't come back yet.
Excellent, exciting.
Exciting, and he's very excited to be here. He's a student at the college, and he's very excited to get on board.
Council, I'd look for a motion to hire Parker Grove as an EMT for the Chisholm Ambulance Service.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Second?
Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And the next one is another first for us. This would be our first intercept, ALS intercept agreement with a neighboring county area. Actually, this is Cook Ambulance reached out asking for an ALS intercept, so this would allow us to respond to them with a paramedic and provide advanced life support care. So this is a pretty basic one, trying to help with this quite a bit. If you read through it, you can see on 7, we have some missing dollar amounts. Cook has not finalized their numbers yet. The numbers that are projected to go in there would be the rates that are normal across the board for this area, which would be $300 if they provide us scene support, and $400 if we provide intercept for them. Because you can only bill the patient once. And then the ambulance services bill each other for the rest of it.
Okay. Yeah, exciting to say the least. It's
Yeah.
always good to help out your surrounding area, so. Also, I'd look for a motion to allow us to sign the ALS intercept agreement with Cook EMS.
Make a motion?
Thank you, Jed.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All I have, thank you.
Okay, moving on. Chief Worley.
I'm just looking for approval to accept grant funds for training from the MPFTE in the amount of $6,360.
Perfect. Thank you. And so everyone is aware, this is the money that we get every year, cost per firefighter that's on our service to help with the training dollars. So it goes a long way. I would look for a motion to approve resolution 1124-92.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Travis.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Galley, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you remember from previous discussions we've had, I do have to use most of the revenue that I take in from permit fees towards the building department. And with the help of, well, not with the help of Larry. Larry actually was kind enough to find me a car for the department within the budget that we had discussed previously for the department. So I'm just asking for approval for the purchase of the 2022 Ford Edge.
And that is the 29,219, right?
Correct.
Yep. Hey, council, I would look for a motion to approve, the purchase of the 2022 Ford Edge, in the amount of $29,219.
Question, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Did we ever get that final number that we generated for all those fees? Was it 29,000, or what was the actual final number?
The final number, so far, year to date, was 98,000 and an odd number of dollars of permit fees generated. The school was a large portion of that. That was $35,000, and the rest are building permit fees from a lot of hail damage.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Travis.
Second?
Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mandy.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. In follow-up to our public hearing, which we held at 5 o'clock tonight, before you, we have resolution number 1124-93, which is the resolution adopting the assessments for the Fifth Street South Infrastructure Improvement Project. Most note would be on number 2 there, approving the spreading of those, and certifying to the county, spreading those assessments over 10 years at a 3% annual interest rate. Those are numbers that you can adjust if you so choose. Those have historically been the numbers used in previous projects. But with that, I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, there's no questions for Mr. Johnson. I'd look for a motion to approve resolution 1124-93.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Support.
Thank you, Travis. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Next, starting on page 32, Mayor, I have a recommendation. We received a professional services agreement from SEH for our proposed 2025 infrastructure project. I'm also interested in looking at other engineering firms in our region, but because of the late date that we're at right now and some deadlines that we need to meet, in terms of, first of all, getting survey work done before it's totally covered by snow and where it becomes much more expensive, but also meeting the schedule and coordinating with the school in that Fifth Street project as to where utility location should be, sidewalks, curb and gutter, parking lot layouts. I would like, approach SEH because they've got familiarity both with city standards, but especially then up in the Heritage Manor area. They have done previous projects right there, being Third Avenue Northeast project about 9 years ago, and then the Lake View Addition area back in 2018. The connection with the Lakeview is that there's actually a water main loop that goes from the intersection right by Andy and Rico's, that intersection of 6th Street and 4th Avenue, continuing east through wooded lands, is a old 7-inch diameter water main that loops back down into the Lakeview Addition at the intersection of 5th Street and 5th Avenue that we need to replace. We had problems with the Lakeview Addition just trying to find something that would fit 7-inch diameter water main. They haven't made that for probably 100 years, something like that. It predates even Butch Kuzma. Type of thing. So basically what I needed to do with Stephanie's permission is we sought this proposal from SEH here a week or two ago. They were kind enough to oblige. What we're trying to do is to, later on this agenda, is then, if we approve this proposal, is to authorize the preparation of feasibility study with the idea of receiving that within a 2-month period, at least by the end of January, such that we could hold the informational hearing and the public hearing in February. Hopefully approve plans and specs at that second meeting in February, and authorize the bidding such that we can be receiving bids by the middle to the end of March, such that it's gonna be ready to go under construction somewhere around May 1. Basically, what we've got to try and do is make sure we're coordinating with the school. We've got to do that infrastructure replacement as well as coordination. Basically, between Memorial Day and Labor Day at the school, we don't have quite that same timeline up in the in the Heritage Manor area. But it is my intent that next year, our capital improvement projects for 26 and 27 are really the Fifth Street North project in going from about First Avenue northwest over to the Wenton addition at the southeast corner of that. So what I'd like to do probably early to the middle of next year is go out for requests for proposals for that project to be over the next couple of years. So that's, I apologize, but that's why I got Stephanie's permission. I think she contacted you, such that with the weather that we've got now, we need to get that survey work done immediately and to try and meet that schedule. So with that, SEH did provide us with this service agreement, and actually the fees, including if we need to get some land survey easement assistance where we go with that water main loop up in that Heritage Manor area. Even with that in there, it comes to a maximum cost of $68,000, which represents about 3.6% of that $1.8 million project, $1.88 million project. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have, but I would recommend the approval of that professional services agreement proposal with SEH.
Okay, council, any questions? I know after a different project that we decided, kind of shop around with engineering firms. I think we've all learned that it's not just the engineering firms. So
Yeah, we've got several new ones in the area living as well. Bolton and Make is up here now. Whitseth is now bought out. ARI, both of those firms are in bidding as well right now. So
okay.
we'll reach out to all of those area firms next year when we go out for proposals if you wish me to proceed in that direction, which I think we should.
Absolutely, it's good to have options. All right, council, if there's no questions for Jim, I would look for a motion to enter into engineering service agreement with the engineering services proposal with SEH, the 2025 infrastructure project.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Support.
Thank you, Jed. Further discussion?
I wasn't thrilled with them after the last project. I'm not gonna deny that. I just hope that as we actually get into the project that we do keep a close eye on it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And then if you'll turn to page 41 and 42, in follow-up to that proposal as I was discussing previously is the resolution number 1124-94, authorizing the preparation of the feasibility report for that project. Again, what we're hoping is that we'll have that ready for council approval by the second meeting in January, such that we can hold the informational hearings and public hearings in February, and then hopefully be bidding the project by the end of March. So with that, I would recommend adoption of resolution number 1124-93. Thank you.
1124-94.
Is it? Okay.
I was I've been wrong before, Jim, and I was biting my tongue for a second.
Yeah, it is 94 up on the top of it, and then when we get down to the bottom, it's 90. The last line is 94 on page 41. I can still read it, just
no. All right, council, I'd look for a motion to approve resolution 1124-94.
So moved.
Thank you, Jed.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And then, page 43 and 44 is Resolution 1124-95, which is ordering the preparation of the plans and specifications for that 2025 infrastructure improvement project. And again, I would recommend approval of that resolution. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jim. Council, I look for a motion to approve resolution 1124-95.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And in order through the Chapter 429 assessment process, we cannot approve plans and specs and authorize the bidding of the project until after that public hearing. So it's just, but hopefully we'll be able to do it, the council meeting following the public hearing, then we'll be able to adopt that and then have you authorize the preparation of plans and specs. Thank you. And then if you'll go to page 45, this is in assistance to Larry and Tiffany with regards to pursuit of FEMA money. What they had identified and were pursuing was monies for the failure of that 36-inch diameter corrugated metal pipe that goes across the Iron Kettle parking lot. And I had provided kind of a sketch and a cost estimate, but FEMA required somebody with more expertise than me so we quickly got a proposal from Jeremy Swarzy of Witseth, who are also working on the Thomasoni Memorial Arch. And you have that before you on the following pages at a maximum cost of $5,000. And in fact, we have already, he was very prompt with that and did the necessary survey work, prepared the drawing, prepared the cost estimate. His was relatively close to mine, so he must be doing a good job and has good wisdom. So with that, we
Easy there, Jim.
stay humble, Jim.
Oh, boy.
So with that, we would recommend approval of the proposal from Witseth at a cost of no more than $5,000. With that, I would be happy to answer any questions, or Tiffany or Larry have anything to add, please do so.
All right, council, I look for a motion to approve that proposal, not to exceed $5,000.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Travis.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion?
Is it Cheyenne or Marty?
I heard Cheyenne first.
Oh, okay.
Let's go one question. So is this gonna affect like the corridor there in the area when we do it at all, or is it part of that? It won't be affected at all
This is the alley.
behind it?
It's
There's actually an alley right away going just to the south of the, what I would call that rug storage building, or where group design is in. There's actually an alleyway through there. This really is just the pursuit of seeing if we're going to get FEMA funding is really
Right.
the intent, as I understand, and then we'll go back to a more formal process of finalizing plans and specs. Please.
just to clarify.
it's existing, it won't change anything.
Just to clarify, it appears, when you look at it, just for us that have been here, when you look at it, it looks like the Iron Kettle parking lot, but actually the south end of that parking lot is an alley right away. And that is what we're looking at. That is where this culvert is that's collapsed. And, in order to do the FEMA process, this is just, I mean, it is collapsed, it does need to be fixed, it is crunched on the end, it is a big concern once you start looking at it, but we're on a timeline with FEMA. In
Right.
fact, we are no longer able to report any new damages at this point, so our timeline's on closing.
Where that pipe is in that alley right away?
Say that again?
That pipe is located in that alley right away.
Yeah, it's
It's not-
under the entire alley right away.
It's on there, so I can know.
We're not quite sure, quite frankly, because some of the old drawings that you had been working on, Marty, as I remember,
Years ago.
on Second Avenue, it appears like the inlet is on just the west side at kind of the north end of that rough furniture storage building. It looks like it's on a diagonal
Yeah.
that goes across there. But Larry also found that there's, to the west of that building, there's actually a catch basin.
Yep.
And we're trying to determine
But the story is.
just really what the story is and where it does exist. But the intent is then if we can replace it, get it within that alley right away, if it's not there now, since you don't have to get additional easements.
From what we can tell from what's collapsed and where we're missing, areas, it either is at a diagonal, or it has a corner in it, or there's more than one.
And doesn't it tie into MinDOT's system where it goes under and then it goes down
Ties
to?
into their structures that are in that west ditch to the south of Third Street South. Then crosses underneath Third Street, on that west leg, goes a little bit further to the north, and then sort of diagonals and gets across the highway and ties eventually into that,
Second Street.
that Second Street Storm Sewer project of, what, about 2005, Marty, or something like that?
That's when it was completed, yeah.
Any further discussion? All
Just
those,
for information, during that flood in 1994, the water was flowing around both sides of the Iron Kettle restaurant.
Really?
Like a river on both sides of it, just and over the freeway, part of the 70.
all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Larry, good evening. Exciting.
Very exciting. Thank you, Mayor, Council. If you remember, we were awarded money with the arena project in the last tax bill, $1.25 million to get a good start on the new Public Works garage. So besides being super happy about that, I bring to you a contract for our very own, the design group of Chisholm. When I talk about it, some people don't even know the design group is here, but Otto Mackey is the owner and he has local employees. And between him and I, we and his architectural and engineering services, and along with construction coordination, believe we can do it cheaply and still have a good building and have nice little bid packages that our local contractors can bid on. And with that, the first one is for the Public Works facility, so I want to keep those separate. Public Works facility. The second one will be for the Public Utilities Data Storage Building. So,
Excellent.
in order to move the facility from its current, we need to have both. So,
Can I just add one
Please.
thing to that? So, what Larry and I have discussed is the design work would be this winter, and into the summer, with the hopes that we would be at a good financial spot to be able to bid the project in '25. Either like January '25 timeline, January, February. We do have a timeline on the money that we were allocated through IRRR to spend that. So it's important just to get this design work going, and we are very close, honestly, we're like $600,000. So there's other options we can use for funding, but we'll work on that within that year and hopefully have the funding secured that's needed to have that building built in spring of '25.
26, spring of 26.
Somewhere in
Yeah.
there.
Wow.
When
there's-
we get-
Construction 25 or starting 26?
Starting 26. Yeah, there are multiple things to consider. Like we have also been put on notice by the MPCA on our fuel system has passed its life, and yeah, so we'll have that into design along with the next project, the heated storage building, and yeah, so
Fantastic to use the local company.
absolutely,
And I will say that you're going to do it inexpensively.
absolutely,
This is the
absolutely.
difference there. So,
It'll be a building for the taxpayer. So.
hey, there we go. Okay, all right.
For a full sum of up to $95,000, one lump sum. So we'd ask for council support to enter into a contract with Otto Mackey of the Design Group of Chisholm.
Council, I'll look for a motion to enter into that contract with the design group.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Jed.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion?
I have a couple things. Just to confirm, this is the 6 feet south.
Correct.
South.
Yep.
Letter, your results right there.
Yep.
And then, I know the soil rooms are excluded, but it'd be very important to make sure you do
Absolutely. Yep. Hopefully soon.
that.
I think we're going to try to combine them with the soil borings for the,
Okay.
for next year's projects if we can, while they're here, mobilization charges.
Yeah. Makes sense.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor. And then, to follow up with that, the public utilities heated storage building, it's basically a bus garage, if you will. 6 doors, 3 offset from each other, 3 on each side, all usable space, no center columns, those types of things. And this is for the garbage trucks, the sewer, and the water department, all their needed equipment and such. So, and then, you know, there'll be pallet racking and stuff like that for snowplows and things. But this is to move the whole facility. Right now, the garbage has its own. And the funding for this, we believe, will be mostly entirely from the public utilities themselves and not the general fund or, you know, the whole. It'd be the ratepayers as opposed to the taxpayer, so,
Excellent.
yeah. And we work with Devin over the winter on, but this is very efficient doing it together. We think that there'll be minimal costs, that I have some budgeted already in 25 in buildings that I can cover some of these costs right up front. And then we'll work with Devin on financing. Every utility is at a different spot with cash, you know, and debt. So we'll, you know, one department might need a loan and another ones can pay cash. So we'll kind of see how that goes, and we'll get it designed on site and get some numbers together and some options, so.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Great work,
again, with the
Larry,
design
Devin,
group of
Steph.
Chisholm, so.
Thank you. All right, council, I'd look for a motion to enter into the contract with Design Group for public utilities heated storage garage.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Marty.
Support.
Thank you, Travis. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, moving on, Stephanie.
Good evening. The first item I have on the agenda would be resolution number 1124-96. This is to accept grant funds from the IRRR Trails Grant Program. As you know, the city of Chisholm has received $1 million for Redhead Trailhead, pump track, skills course, and other amenities. Myself, Bridget, and Devin were able to attend that board meeting. So we're just looking for approval on the resolution to accept those funds.
Excellent, great work, everyone. Also, I'd look for a motion to approve resolution 1124-96.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Support.
Thank you, Jed. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item I have on the agenda is the Redhead Mountain Bike Park vision statement. For those of you that were able to attend last night's Redhead meeting, the master plan was presented by Pete Carroll, and there was time for discussion on that. Within the master plan, there is a vision statement that is required for the Parks and Trails designation, and the proposed new vision statement for Redhead reads: Redhead Mountain Bike Park will be a regional, national, and international destination for mountain biking, hiking, and snowshoeing, as well as water recreation and related activities. It will qualify as an International Mountain Bicyclist Association's ride center with 50 to 75 miles or more of varied, high-quality, well-designed, and purpose-built trails and bike-related amenities built upon transitional minelands with the flexibility to move to accommodate future industrial uses. So we're looking for the council to approve this vision statement and be included in the master plan. And Marty, I don't know if you have anything to add to that. You've been included in these meetings.
I guess the only thing I'd say is, I know some people, especially with 50, and 75.
Unfortunately, but
Hopefully get over that
right.
threshold, and I guess the IMBA designation is more of a prestige thing, I guess, but it does draw a lot of attention from the community, and it's gonna attract more riders to come in.
And with that pump track that's planned to get, you know, it's actually, they can use that pump track for events or for racing, and you have to be a IMBA member for that. And what did they say? There's only,
I think that's a different organization, but
Is
the
it different?
contract will, if it's a certain size and certain quality, then like, there's these Red Bull events where they have these competitions. And,
there's only one other in the country right now?
well,
Is that
there's not that
Arkansas
many.
or?
Yeah, there's not that many. But ours is all unique, that tree is, that could also attract events.
Right. Hey, Council, I would look for a motion to approve the MTB Park Vision Statement.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Marty.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item we have on the agenda is the resolution number 1124-97. This is to make application to Minnesota DNR Outdoor Rec Grant Program. The Bridget and the Parks and Rec Board have also been diligently working on a master plan for Lake Park. This would be just an additional funding source. She's been working a lot on grant funding for that. So it's approval for grant funding for phase 1 of the project from the Minnesota DNR Outdoor Recreation Grant Programs in the amount of $350,000. This phase 1 will include pickleball courts, half basketball court, and a pump track. We do have additional funding that she has for match for this also. So we're looking for approval to get that grant going.
Excellent. All right, Council, I'd look for a motion to approve Resolution 1124-97.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Support.
Thank you, Travis. Any further discussion? All those,
Just one comment. I know that they laid out the plan with the half basketball court, but realistically, it could still be a full court. That would use all the existing pavement that we have. So, just not sure why we want to get rid of part of our pavement, but
right,
just
excellent. Well, thank you for that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
The next item I have on the agenda is the Precious Paws contract. Joe Kiesel is here to present on that. So we're looking for approval for 2025.
All right, Council, unless anyone has anything to add from earlier's discussion, I'll look for a motion to approve the contract from Precious Paws Humane Society of Chisholm Animal Shelter.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
second.
Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on, first item under myself, Resolution 1124-98, certify assessments and liens to the county. We have a list here. So unless there's any questions, I'll look for a motion to approve Resolution 1124-98.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Support.
Thank you, Jed. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Rams Board nomination. All right, Council, so, got a ballot here, looking for a member for a 2-year term for the Rams Committee. Not sure if anyone is interested in that. I believe the meetings are on Thursday nights. Is it the third Thursday?
Well, fourth Thursday.
Fourth Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they start at 6. They usually serve dinner before. I'm pretty sure it's at 6 that they start. At least they did when I was on.
So I had intended to maybe reach out to Jim Varda, because he's not here tonight, so he'd be an easy one to put on this. Before I did so, I can't make those Thursdays. That day is sacred in my house right now, so I'm out. Definitely, it's a very important board. It's very important that I think that we have a membership on this board.
Yeah, well, actually, Jim was on it, and then, I went on it after he did, and then Cheyenne went on after I did. And, I think it certainly makes a lot of sense for us to nominate someone. I don't know how many spots are up, do you know?
11.
11 spots. So, I mean, there's usually like 14 nominations or, so something that you consider, Jed?
Yeah, I consider it,
you know,
actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd want to do it.
I mean, worst case scenario, I would do it again, but I've already done it for, so.
Me and Jed, then.
Well, Jed said he'd do it.
Okay, I guess I'm not back to you.
Yeah.
All right, I would look for a motion to nominate Counselor Holloway. Thank you, Cheyenne.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Further discussion, now that this has me thinking, there is an opening on the LCCMR board. And we don't have any representation up here anymore after we are losing our representation. So something to keep in mind, that those nominations are also coming up here. So if anybody is interested in that at the state level, it doesn't have to be somebody from this board or council, it could be anyone from the city. If you know someone, I would encourage that anybody at home reach out to city officials. We can help you connect the dots there. But if anyone is interested in that, it would be great to have an Iron Ranger definitely on that board to assist us.
When and where those meetings are going?
If they're in the cities, I'm pretty sure. I think it's a governor's board.
And I think they're quarterly.
I don't know, I'd have to look.
So
I did
I'll
look.
I'll get some information and have Susan send it out to the council.
Folks at home, could you just go on with the
Oh God, yeah, the acronyms. I like acronyms.
Don't we all?
No. So the LCSEMR is definitely for the Parks and Rec, the funding that comes through. We got a lot for Redhead. It helps dictate where that money goes and how it's spent and how it's doled out. We got, what was the total? $1 million, $1.7 million. There are certain people that were on that board that were trying to get that geared just towards. You have to check a lot of boxes in order to get that money, and the boxes to be checked, you definitely would have had to been a southern Minnesota city in order to accommodate those. So, yeah, that's why it's important that we have a voice up here. Yeah, we'll get more info. All right, squirrel. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Counselor, and good luck.
Thank you.
All right, last thing on my agenda here is to reschedule or suspend December 25th regular council meeting. So our second meeting in December is Christmas Day. I don't know if anybody else is busy that day, but I'm not sure what your opinions are. I would be fine with suspending it, and we could always reschedule if needed. But it's up to the council as a whole.
What would you prefer?
I am okay with suspending and scheduling if needed. We are trying to get everything to the December 11th meeting. That will be a busy meeting. We have truth and taxation and setting the levy and getting the budget finalized, but that's the big stuff for end of year. If we can get that all accomplished, I think we can do it. If not, if the council will still be open, if we could pick an alternative date, if we do, then that would be great. But suspend it unless you hear from us. That would be my recommendation.
I think we'll know more after December 11th meeting too. I think it's gonna be.
Right, if there is some decision that we don't wanna go with the current budget, that we have to make changes, then obviously then we would have to do additional work on that.
What time was suspending it?
Can we pick an alternate date just in case?
So that week is a tough week.
Monday the 30th? Friday the 27th?
Yeah, we have Monday the 30th or 26th, 27th, if we needed to do one.
Yeah.
If I was gonna choose, my opinion would be the 30th,
Or we could do this week. We could do the week before Christmas,
the week before Christmas.
if we had to.
The week before, I have Monday and Tuesday, 16th and 17th open.
I'm out of town the 13th through the 18th.
So,
Mm-hmm.
There is work for me.
23rd will work for me.
Does that work for you? The 30th?
So I'd say we suspend it with an alternative date of the 30th if needed. So how do we do that? Do we just suspend it and then we just kind of leave it open till, that'll be the date that we'll post it?
Correct. I think what we do is just suspend it, and then if we needed it, you could just note another meeting, or post another meeting.
And we can just call it at the December 11th meeting.
Oh, right, we would know by then.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd look for a motion to suspend the December 25th, 2024 regular council meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Travis.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anyone have anything under miscellaneous? I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Thank you, Jed. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Good night, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Be safe.
We have to wait.